Hello Electroheads, I'm Ailish and today we're going to be talking about one of the biggest trends of the last 5 years. No, I'm not talking about mullets, Squid Game or TikTok. Speaking of TikTok, get on over there and give us a follow for some quick fire e-mobility goodness nestled in amongst the cat videos and the guy shouting, "Very good, very nice, very good, very nice." You know the one. Van life is a huge craze right now. It has as much of a following as Gemma Collins' Instagram, and legendary RV and camper brand Winnebago are about to change the game. Anyway, let me set the scene. We've all found ourselves falling down a YouTube rabbit hole, right? It's late at night, you've just tucked yourself into bed, finished off your glass of milk, and you think, you know what? I'll watch a couple of videos on YouTube before I fall asleep.
I'll smash you!
And in the blink of an eye, it's 2 AM, hours have passed watching outtakes from The Office, the latest conspiracy theory of how giants really did exist. We've all been there. But have you ever found yourself watching people wave goodbye to their boring, stationary homes and live the life on the road? I'm of course talking about van life, and I don't think I'm the only one getting sucked into watching video after video of people ditching bricks and mortar for a more modified van. In fact, there are millions of people subscribed to van life focused content creators like Eamon and Beck and Janelle Eliana, so it's clearly a big deal. But for those whose late night YouTube habits maybe take them down a slightly different path, I'm looking at you, WatchMojo.com top 10 fans.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com.
Van life is a movement that, whilst having always been around since the 1950s and the iconic VW T1 campervan, has found a rejuvenated popularity in the last 5 years. The motive behind it is freeing yourself from the restrictions of living in a stationary, boxy, cold, boring, expensive, needlessly large or terrifyingly small house by kitting out a van of your choice with all the things you could possibly need and turning it into your new home on 4 wheels. These modded vehicles have everything, and I mean
Everything.
and this isn't some hippie camper stuff from the 1960s. I'm talking fridge freezers, working ovens, alpine chalet style wood panels and proper beds. Yes, no more succumbing to the roll mat and sleeping bag combination that leaves you vowing to never leave your bed again. These vans really are homes on 4 wheels. But it's not just about being able to live a life where the world is your back garden. It's also about reducing your footprint. Behind every van conversion is someone interested in becoming less reliant on the hyper-modern amenities, escaping the rat race, that feeling of always being glued to the screen, but also reducing their personal impact on the environment. Typically, those who make the switch to the van life will tend to pick up one of the trusted models like a Volkswagen Transporter, the Ford Transit and the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. New or used, these vans more often than not kickstart people's van-flavoured adventures. But there is a gap in the market that might just be plugged in 2022. There's a real shortage of EVs built to tick this box, and surely there's a massive opportunity for someone to swoop in and electrify all the van life folk out there and maybe tempt a few more to take the plunge. Earlier this year, Mercedes revealed the EQV, which can be modded to camper spec, suggesting that perhaps there's market interest. But there's one prospective e-camper that's got our Electroheads turning. In January this year, American campervan and RV giant Winnebago revealed their take on electrified van life with their ERV concept. Based on the super popular and always available Ford Transit platform, the ERV is entirely new, all electric and zero tailpipe emissions, and is a trailblazer in electrifying the camper market. So, who is the ERV aimed at? Well, Winnebago themselves say the electrified camper is designed for both the experienced camper and also the new generation of RV owners, which has to include those lured into the van life. And Winnebago is quick to point out that the van is targeted at those who want to preserve the natural world as much as they want to enjoy it, opening the door to making this the ultimate green living. A starting price is yet to be disclosed, but this could potentially be a stumbling block, as it unfortunately has been across the EV world. Currently, for a fairly basic van conversion, it could cost you as little as £2,000. If you're feeling particularly bougie and hemorrhaging cash, you can spend up to £50,000 on a more extensive upgrade. So the ERV needs to convince those looking to do a conversion and potential new buyers that the overall cost of this electrified moving home is worth it.
Because I'm worth it.
Instead of buying a cheaper van and shelling out on the upgrade, Winnebago has to sell the lifestyle at a price that will make the DIY work a project not worth the hassle. The ERV needs to be the complete package, and to be honest, it really could be. At the moment, the ERV's range is almost certainly going to limit the interest, depending on where you are in the world. The 86 kilowatt hour battery listed in the concept produces an estimated 125 miles of range. I know, which already for current EVs is a little on the lower end, but when you factor in what this vehicle is for, you definitely want more. So let's say I'm in the Electroheads office and I've decided I want to get as far away from London as possible and head to Chai Khan Camping and Touring Park, a couple of miles from the sweet, sweet, beautiful beach at Kynance Cove in Cornwall. Look at it, look how beautiful it is. How is that in the UK?
How, sweet?
Anyway, it's a journey around about 310 miles from A to beach, meaning even though I'd have to ensure I left on a full charge, I'd still need to stop twice for a full charge on the journey there. But in more extensive road trips like the iconic Route 66, Iceland's breathtaking ring road, or Australia's coastal A1 highway, you might actually struggle to make it between charging points. Seriously, like look at this. These two on South Australia's A1 are 7 miles further apart than the range allows. And doesn't that defeat the idea of the van life, the freedom to just get in the van and go? It's all taken away with the need to seriously plan charging points. 125 miles is really limiting. However, Winnebago say they believe the range will meet the needs of 54% of the current RV market, or at least the people they asked. Who doesn't love an in-house survey? However, they do expect this range to increase as battery tech develops between now and the release model. And that development is already happening. Major steps in the new generation of solid-state battery tech has the potential to cure range anxiety and offer a serious boost to range. It's looking hopeful that an RV with 250 plus miles of range is really not that far off. And this leads me on to my next point about the ERV. One of the big issues surrounding camping, campervans and RVs is the need to have some sort of power supply available to you on the go, and then to power all the luxuries on offer when you finally pitched up at your next stop. Normally, this might mean plugging into the available mains at the campsite or running a dirty generator of some kind. But if you're living the purest form of van life and you're planning on being as far away from a plug socket as possible, then the ERV might just be the machine for you. The electric Winnebago is completely self-reliant once out in the wild. Everything from powering the fridge to the water heater for the shower are powered by the same electricity source that powers it on the road. This means it's simple to set up and easy to keep on top of. No scrappy cables, noise or smell you might get with a traditional generator. Of course, this does have its benefits and downsides. As mentioned before, the ERV lives and runs off the same energy source, so you'll have to keep in mind how much power you've used every stop on the way before you travel onwards. And I thought van life was about reducing stress. But how could this be solved? What do you think? I reckon that solar panels could play a massive part in reducing this range/comfortable living issue that arises with the multi-use battery. Come on, solar panels are a perfect fit for an EV that will be parked outside for the majority of its life. And with the development of things like BIPV panels and solar skins, we'd love to see the ERV kitted out with these things in the future. Maybe it could be an upgrade down the line once this car is released, or even better, considered on the actual release version. God forbid you scrape it though.
That's gonna kill me.
One of the major benefits of having your EV run on electric power is it can help open up the space inside, something that's at a premium these days. And if you're looking to downsize from your lovely 2-up, 2-down house to live in a van, you certainly won't want to give up all of that room.
You know I'm very claustrophobic!
To make vans energy efficient but also comfortable to live in, especially if you find yourself exploring the slightly chillier corners of the world, the inner walls are insulated and panelled. This unfortunately takes up quite a bit of room, and whilst it is a necessary process, once you start adding in bits like beds, tables, shelves, cookers, the space quickly disappears, and all of a sudden you've got just as much space as you had cramming onto the central line every morning on your way to work. Oh, sorry. With electric powertrains and the batteries used to now power them, there's no need for the lumpy, heavy, and space-demanding mechanical bits and bobs. And we've seen this already having a positive effect on the interiors around the EV world. The TARDIS-like Honda E, the well-thought-out Polestar 2, and the seriously roomy new Tesla Model Y, which I had a look around the other week. You can click up here to give that video a watch. Match that to the notoriously practical and flat cabin floor from the Ford Transit base, and the ERV has surprisingly spacious living quarters. The room-conscious premium gallery amenities include a modern marine grey refrigerator, disappearing slide-out induction cooktops, and matte black sink fixtures like an actual tap.
Fuck off.
There's a couple of fold-down seats in a perfect position for the telescopic arm-mounted table, which in turn can move around and slide out of the way. Then the bench slash sofa slash comfy indoor chair thing is easily converted into a double bed that utilizes almost all of the floor space to give you the room to have sweet, sweet van life dreams. All of this is packed full with sustainably sourced and renewable materials to emphasize the ERV's position as a world-conscious, friendly camper van. The flooring, for example, is made from recycled cork, and that crucial wool insulation I talked about earlier is made from a sustainably sourced wool. Pretty cool, right? Now, one of the biggest fears people have over using a camper is the state of the toilet. And despite what the anti-camper folk might say, it's far from medieval in the ERV. The bathroom includes, yes, a toilet and contemporary fixtures, including a detachable handheld shower head. On board, you can monitor and control life inside the cabin through touchscreen systems, similar to the Mercedes MBAC, and that offers mobile control, allowing you to make sure that there's a hot shower ready for you when you get back from your hike in Yosemite, or you've just finished up some surfing. Winnebago also wants to give the ERV as good a Wi-Fi connection as you'll find at home, with dual modern router systems helping you to keep up with your fellow vannies, vanners? Whilst there are a few bits and bobs still left to be clarified on the ERV before it hits the market in the coming couple of years, it's impossible to ignore that the low emissions van life is not that far away. As battery tech continues to improve and rent prices continue to skyrocket to an all-time high, I don't think it will be long before we see a new generation of electric van lifers. The much anticipated VW ID Buzz is a mere stepping stone compared to the Winnebago, which has the potential to go the distance, literally and metaphorically. So tell me what you think. Can you see yourself living the electric van life? Has it got legs, or would it take more than a Wi-Fi connection and a nice toilet to convince you that van life is more than just a phase? Let me know down in the comments, and whilst you're there, click that thumbs up if you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. I'm off on a road trip. See you later.